Hey, it's Jack here. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to be checking out the Ice Age Fossils State Park today. A few weeks ago, I covered the Tule Springs fossils. Got a lot of comments on that video. Come check this place out. So we're about 10 minutes away from that location of Tule Springs. So we're going to go ahead and go in here and check it out. Before you venture out and about, you got to go pay the entrance fee. If you do have a state park pass, that will work here. Go ahead and walk up here. Go on inside. You can see here they've got some fossils on the walls here. Okay, we come in, we got checked in. I'll leave a link to the state park pass where you can get one. If you're a veteran, you can get in for free. And right here, these are actual fossils that were found on location here. You can see right here, that jawbone fossil right here is how it looked when it was in the ground. And that fossil is right here. I mentioned to start in this room here where you watch a movie. And to get that movie going, we press the button on the wall here. For copyright, we're not going to show any of the movie, but I'll tell you about it when it's done. But the movie was very informative. We're going to go walk around the visitor center now, then we're going to head outside and see what there is to see. As we come out of the movie, we see the Tule Springs over 21,000 years ago. Got this big cat right here. And this is how the area looked potentially back in that time frame. This is great. They've got the animated animals down here as they would have went through the marshlands. What you see walking up here, these are the prehistoric camel that were out here. Now in the movie I just watched, they called the animals that were out here the megafauna. Over here, this is the fossils they have found out here on location. They showed this fossil in the movie also. This is obviously a tusk from a mammoth there. This is a better representation of the species that were out here. We have Scott's horse, the giant ground sloth, the camelops, there was bison, and the Columbian mammoth. Up top there's a dire wolf, the American lion, the saber-toothed cat. And they put that there where we can see it, comparing it to a human. Over here they're talking about the people who came out here and discovered the fossils. You got a timeline here in 33, the 1950s. In the 62 to 63, they had what was called the Big Dig, and they came out here and found things like this mammoth tusk here, and they take it all the way from the 2000s to today. I like the information they put out here. If you didn't know what a paleontologist is, well, right here, you can freeze frame your screen and read all about it for yourself. Over here they got various artwork, and this artwork here is done by elementary school kids. And we do have a couple high school down here. We got 9th grader here that did the mammoth. And over here the dire wolf was done by a 12th grader. Center focal point here they have the camelops, and this is obviously a model, not actual fossils. There's this cool information here. They talk about the migration. So they have the camelops here in North America, which is extinct now. And then the North American llama, which is extinct. But they show the migration, how they went. The llama went down to South America, and they related to these animals here. And the camelops, as we come through, we can see those migrated over and down here to where they have the camel as we know it down here in the African area. Noise we hear in the background of these woolly mammoths coming across. Over here on this side of the visitor center is the gift shop. They've got some stickers here, magnets for your walking stick. They have medallions you can put on there. They've got patches, coffee mugs, keychains, some fossil type of stuff down here, and of course some books right here. Down below, if you want to own a geode, you can do so for $5. Own a geode right there. Over here they got their plush. They got a snake here, there's a buffalo, here there's a desert tortoise, you got a raven, and you got your park rangers across the back there. And what I collect is the pens. I'm going to pick up a pen here. Not sure which one I'm going to get. I ended up getting this pen right here. It's got the mammoth on there, Ice Age fossils, and it was $5. So we're going outside. We'll venture around on some of their trails here and see what they've got. So we come outside from the visitor center. Good time to relieve yourself here. All the restrooms are outside. And right in front of us here, they do have a water bottle area where you can fill up your water bottle if you don't have one that's full. You're going to want water out here regardless of the time of year. If it's summertime, you're probably going to want to have 2 bottles of water with you. You also have the drinking fountains on either side. So we're going to go out here. There has been rains recently, like in the last 48 hours as I'm filming this in the area. So some of the trails are closed. But they told me the short trail around the visitor center is definitely opened up. So we'll do this short trail and show you what there is to see. We come over here, we see this large picnic area with plenty of shade. So if it's hot out here, those tin roofs will definitely keep the sun off you. Bring your lunch out here with you. They do have trash cans available. Dump your garbage. Enjoy your lunch with your family or friends. You can come out here and walk the trails. I'll point out here, around the visitor center, it's a very short trail. It's less than a half mile. I think it's 0.03 miles is what they told me. And they've got these sculptures along the way with some information on them. So we're going to do that. And they have more trails further out this way. The whole loop would be about a 3-mile loop, but some of that's closed because of the weather it came through the Las Vegas Valley over the last couple days. So we're just going to walk around here close by for now, and we'll see what there is to see. Well, we walked up a little bit further, really not that far at all. Got this shady area where you can take a load off if you want to. And where we just were was right there. This is where the picnic area was. We walked up probably about 100 yards, length of a American football field, to this location here. Now this way takes us out to the Trench K trailhead and the Big Dig Trail. The Big Dig Trail, so I showed you in the visitor center, that's where they did the big dig back in the 1960s. They found a bunch of fossils. I come up to our first statue here. We got the saber-toothed cat. And right here, they've got a model. It says, touch the partial skull with the canine. So let's do that. Yep. It is a partial skull with the canine tooth there. And here is a painting, drawing of what that cat would look like back in the day. And it's hunting this cow right here. Now let's just take ourselves back tens of thousands of years here. This whole area was a marsh area, and these animals roamed all the way out here. Now they told me in the visitor center that these metal sculptures are the size that the animals would have been. So this is called the ancient bison. According to the sign, the ancient bison was about 7.5 feet tall. However, I think this one's a little bit more than that. Over here is a model of one of the fossils of the horns that they found from the ancient bison. Here's a painting of what that bison would look like. And over here it says ancient bison was armed with a skull that could be used as a battering ram and sharp horns to gore potential threats. I think the bison this day and age are very much the same, but they're not as big as this one is. And this gives you an idea of how big this ancient bison was. I'm 5'10". We can see that hump on that's probably about 8 foot. So this was a large mammal that roamed this area. We walk up a trail further, we've got the Columbian mammoth. And again, some of the spectacular views of this area. Now, if I go over here to the right, however, we can see that right over here, urban development and housing is right up against the sides of this preserved area. And here's the information about that Columbian mammoth. They do have a model of the fossil that was found out here. And this is a tooth from that mammoth right here. Sign reads that was 13 feet tall at the shoulder and weighed about 22,000 pounds. Well, for comparison, again, I'm 5'10". We can see how massive this Columbian mammoth was back in its day. As we leave the Columbian mammoth, continue up the trail this way. Got ourselves another area that's shaded here. The current temperature says 52, feels like 45, and there is a breeze going on out here, so it definitely feels like it's in that mid to low 40s. As we come over here, we can see this says yesterday's camel. Go over here to the sign and see what type of fossil has us checking out. So right here, there's a model of the neck vertebrae fossil that they found out here on location. They do say this stood about over 7 feet at its shoulder. And for comparison, again, I'm 5'10". We can see how big this animal was. So to show you where we are on the trail, visitor center is right in front of us. There's a picnic area there. Here was the first area we saw where you could sit down with some covering. Saber-toothed cat, we got the bison, we got the Columbian mammoth, and here's a camel. So we'll continue on this way. Well, you come up here, we got the American lion. And the information for that's over here. We'll see what fossil we get to touch here. Warning, surface may be hot. Don't think we're gonna have to worry about that today. But these are fossils of the tracks from this animal here. And it says it's about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. Well, this gives you an idea of the height of the animal. Again, I'm 5'10". This animal is about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. Over here, this one's called the Shasta ground sloth. Get a better view of it here as we come around. Right there, Shasta ground sloth. We'll see what fossil we have to touch here. And it says this is its claw. So this was the fossil they found out here. This is a model of it, obviously, of the sloth claw. And you can touch that if you want to. And it says this, too, is 3.5 to 4 feet tall. You can see the cat over there and the sloth here, both the same size. Walked a little bit further up the trail, not very far. We have Scott's horse right here. Over here we've got a, looks like maybe a leg of the fossil to touch. Oh, it's the hoof. So we got the lower leg and the hoof. Again, this is a fossil found here on location, a model of that. And it says here that that was approximately 4.5 to 5 feet tall. So in comparison, this is how big Scott's horse was to a human. Again, I'm 5'10". The horse was about 4.5 to 5 feet tall. Well, we walked a little bit up the ways here, not very far from Scott's horse, which is right there. Brings us up to the dire wolves right here. We got 3 of them. And we'll see what fossil we have over here to touch and look at. Oh, it looks like part of the skull. Again, as I've said before, this is a model of a fossil found here on location. They say that the dire wolf was about 3.5 feet tall. Well, I don't care how short these dire wolves are. I wouldn't want to be around them back in the day when they roamed this area, because they'd probably tear you up and make an easy meal out of you. But here's a size comparison of what those wolves look like when they roam the area. After I got done filming the dire wolves, I went back inside the visitor center, and they told me that the Big Dig trail up here, this half mile, is open. And they said, go ahead and check it out if I want to. So we're gonna go out here to check out the Big Dig trail. Half mile loop it looks like. Come up to the sign here, it's a reminder. If you take it in with you, take it out, dispose of trash, so forth. Pets must be on a leash and always stay on the trail. So not a problem there. And also there's another warning not to pick up any of the fossils and take those home with you, because that is a punishable offense. So the trail is clearly laid out here. Got the stones on the left and the right. We'll stay on this, walk up here, see what there is to see. Probably about 50 yards from where the trail started. Just thought I'd check out this view and show it to y'all. Again, picture this as big marshland area back tens of thousands of years ago. As we walk along here, it's a very easy trail. I will say there's not much to see really. It's flat ground. What I've been doing as I walk through here, just imagining what this would look like, as I mentioned in the prior segment, tens of thousands of years ago. We can see through here, This is a dry wash. We also see here where the rains that came in over the last couple days, the water ran through here. Well, that brings us up here to the Big Dig Trail. It's a 1.2 mile loop. And because of the rain runoff, it is closed off. They let me know that this might be closed off. And as I was going up this way, the rangers were going back the other way in their truck, and they did tell me that this was closed off. So initially when I got here, the visitor center told me that this whole area would be closed off, but ends up it's just the Big Dig Trail that's closed off here. Up a little further, there is a covered area, like a picnic area there. Take the load off. And then more of the same here. I'm going to see if we can get an angle of the Big Dig up here, or at least I can show it to you from an angle. Okay, so we can definitely see the fence posts there. I've zoomed in, make it a little easier to see. What they did was they created these trenches between where the marshes were, and there's fossils that they found inside these trenches here. So that's one right there. I'll try to get a different angle of it if I can. Now, here's a different angle. I walked up just, I don't know, 10, 12 feet maybe. Got this good angle. I'm a little bit higher ground than I was. And we can see there the Big Dig area where they dug that trench out to pull some fossils out. Go ahead and head out toward this shaded area over here. See if there's anything else to see. Wanted to stop here for a moment. With that storm that blew in here through the last couple of days, it did bring snow up there to Mount Charleston and the Spring Mountain Range. So I'll continue on following this path, see what else there is to see. Well, I moved up here closer to the shaded area. There is an information placard here. They're talking about how the view would look differently, so let's take a look here. So back in the day, this is a picture taken in the 1960s, 1962 to be exact, and we can see the Las Vegas Strip. Back here in the background, we got the people at the campfire here with some trucks there. Now we're standing in this exact location apparently. As we pan up, we can see that our view has changed from what it was back in the 1960s to what it is today. We got these houses right up against the edge here of the fossil beds. Continue up here. I think I see a couple other information placards up here. We'll take a look at those. Come over here. This is that shaded area we've been looking at as we walk up the trail. We do see that there's two information placards over here. Take a look. These photos are here from 1956. It's an expedition that was led by Mark Raven Harrington. And we can see here, this is what the camp looked like. See the mountains in the background. There is snow on the mountains there. We can see them here excavating the site. As we look up here, here's a view from that area now. Zoomed in a little bit, we can see the mountains again. They camped out right in this area here. So this is photos from 1962. Camp Harrington, as was it called. This is what it looked like in 1962. Here they are. Participants are sitting through an evening lecture. Here we are with a sandstorm that blows through this area. It seems like there's always wind up here against these mountains. Well, this is a good picture here. This is where the shaded area is that we're standing right now. And it says that your water truck was up here. You had A, which was your plywood cook shack, so that's where your meals were cooked. You have your outhouses way downwind of where the camp is, and B, this is our excavation trenches. So it's a nice overview of what we saw up the way, but they had several of these excavation trenches out here. They'd go through here and they'd look for those fossils and they'd find them. So the excavation trench was out directly in front of us here, out that way. I do see another overhead shaded area in front of us there. There's no direct path to get to it from here. The way you get to it is you'll walk around the loop this way. Beautiful day today out here, despite the wind and it being a little bit chilly with the wind chill. But let's go ahead and continue to walk and see what else there is to see. Well, we walk down from the shaded area right here. You can see that our terrain has changed. Still an easy path to follow. Got a wooded bridge here. We'll go ahead and cross the bridge and head on up this way. Well, we are on the bridge. Just thought I'd look down. You can see the wash that goes through here. We've got the fresh mud there from the rain that came in over the last couple of days. This definitely looks like it was at one point marshlands. As we come up here to these wood stairs, trail's been nice so far. It's nice graded. However, this is rugged terrain. You're going to want to wear the proper foot attire while you're out here. As we walk down here, we can see there's another information placard billboard in front of us. Go see what that one reads. Coming across here, some mud. We'll step across here as best we can. That wasn't so bad. This billboard here talks about unearthing it again. So there were some students out here in 2011 that they discovered a tusk that was discovered on the big dig that wasn't pulled up. We can see them right here, rediscovering that tusk. Well, our view down here has definitely changed. We're down in the middle of this. Continue walking, see what else there is to see. This gives a good idea how much rain came through here. There's definitely some good mud going on here. We'll go ahead and get ourselves across. So right here, this is the property boundary. We can see those fence posts right there. And we're going right into the wind now. We come up here, we got another information billboard. These pictures here are from 1962. They call this the Flake Site. This is the northern end of Trench A. And we can sit here and line this up. You can see there's the mountains in the background there. Of course, the power poles weren't here back then. And we can see these guys digging right here. Well, we'll continue on this way, see what else there is to see. Brings us up to another information billboard here called Direwolf Hill. This photo was taken in 2011. We can take a look here and see where they are. So this is Direwolf Hill right in front of us. And what they did, they found some fossils here from the dire wolf. They've got actually a plastic model of a fossil that was found out here. That's a dire wolf knuckle found right out here. Well, onward and upward, head this way, see what else there is to see. Well, we looped it back around. In front of us, that's the Harrington site. That's where the shady area was. We talked about the Harrington site. We've come around here, got another shady area. See what this information billboard has to say. Right here, this is the leftover of them digging a trench. So this is what it looks like in the 1960s. This is what it looks like now. We have these dirt piles here on each side of us, right there, and over here as well. But when they trenched the area out to go look for fossils, there's a dirt pile from that. The shaded area where we just were was right here. We've walked up this path. We come across this bridge location here. Check this out. Come up here to this billboard called the Bone Pile. This is where they found a bunch of fossils. This was a spring back in the day, so the billboard says about 45,000 to 55,000 years ago. This was an ancient spring, and they found a bunch of fossils in this area, including directly below us here. So they put the bridge over the top of this to keep this area preserved. Just opposite that, there's this billboard here, and something that was in the movie I watched at the visitor center earlier is they didn't expect to see remains of ancient people who lived out here. They thought this was prehistoric before there was actually humans out here, but they actually found human fossils out here, and this is of course plastic of those where you could touch them, and this shows them digging that up right here. Walk up further, got one more billboard here, oldest campfires. Now this was interesting, it was also in the movie I watched. They found remnants of old campfire, the campfire that was out here, and when they did the carbon aging on that, it came up to be about 23,000 years ago. They did find those charcoal samples back in 1954. Here's pictures of this area where they dug that stuff up, right up in here. Well, our path takes us this way. Let's continue to go on, see what else there is to see. Let's go along here. I hope you're enjoying the content as much as I am bringing it to you. Fossil beds are very interesting. It's a nice walk. If you do come out here, you're going to want to do it probably during the off season because it does get hot out here, obviously in the summertime here in Las Vegas. Park opens at 8 a.m. Therefore, by the time the sun comes up and it's 8 a.m. out here in the summertime, a lot of times it's already over 100 degrees. Best times to come out here would be in the fall when the things start to cool off, winter like I am right now, or early spring. Go ahead and continue on up this way, see what else there is to see. And we see that big dig trail is the wash right through here. And that's going to be the way we're going to go. Out this way. Look up this way, we can see the groundskeeper working on getting that area cleared out. We'll head on down this way. This gives a better angle of that wash area. See where that water comes right down this way, flows right out here. We see that standing water right down there. That's nice. Come up here, they laid some pallets out with a piece of plywood on top to avoid this mud that's on either side. Go ahead and cross here. Well, the visitor center somewhere in front of us over here. This area is the remnants of that ancient marshland that was out here. Going over here, we can see we got this roped off to where we don't go up there, and see how treacherous it is with all these rocks that have come down. We got an information billboard up here. We'll take a look. These billboards have been very informative, as they should be. Talks about the different layers. So every layer tells a story. And we got the different layers here. We see here the very top, everything from here up is from about 24 to 38,000 years ago. Everything in the middle here, they say, is about from 45 to 55,000 years ago. Then here at the bottom, they say it's from about 55,000 to 100,000 years ago. So we got all those layers right there. Continue walking through. You see we're going to go right through that ancient marshland right now. Come up here, the billboard here talks about the Las Vegas wash. It says it's a living wash with the wildlife, the plant life that flourish out here in this day and age. Of course, back tens of thousands of years ago, this was that marshy grasslands where those big animals roamed. So I've come back up on the trail. I took a little breather there on the shade area. Walking back up the trail this way, it brings us right back to pretty much where we started. We got the animal statues out here. Visitor center right in front of us. Go ahead and continue down the path here. This billboard here shows us the map we just did. We started here, we walked around, did all the statues, came back around. I checked with the visitor center to see if the connector was open. They said it was, so we walked down this way. This is that big dig trench. This was closed. So we came this way. This is 1.2 miles. Came back across. We came up this way, came back around, and we're down here now. I walked around this for a little bit. This is inspired by a Girl Scout model. She made a model of a mammoth. You got a picture of that right over here. And then based on her model, they made this statue of the mammoth here. So there's a conceptual sketch of the monumental mammoth. There is Taiho Mack holding the miniature model of the mammoth skeleton. Came from her Girl Scout project right here.
For her gold award, Mack envisioned constructing life-size Colombian mammoth using materials recovered from public cleanup efforts.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this walk around tour, Ice Age Fossil State Park here in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.